gentleman from Texas, Mr. Hunt. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the witnesses for appearing here today. I really appreciate it. For the record, I am pro-life, and I thank God that my mom was also pro-life, because if not for her, I wouldn't be sitting before you as a congressman today. And since this past Sunday was Mother's Day, I want to thank my mother for choosing life. Good looking out, Mom. If you're a member of the pro-life movement, you will be targeted. If you're a pro-choice protester, you will be protected. And this is how the Biden administration puts their thumbs on the scales of justice. What we're really talking about here today is a selective application and enforcement of federal law. And I've brought some receipts. Under this administration, conservatives are being targeted. Our first example is the ATF. The ATF has targeted lawful gun owners by crafting a rule that would make 40 million Americans felons overnight. Of course, there's the FBI. The FBI conducted an unprecedented raid at President Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago. They used FISA research warrants against conservatives. They've attempted to put moles in churches to spy on radical Christians. And of course, we have the recent results of this Durham report. And of course, we cannot forget about the CIA. Just this last week, this committee published this report that former intelligence officials colluded with the Biden campaign to discredit the Hunter Biden laptop. This happened just days before the 2020 election. I say to that, well, hot damn, that sounds like election interference to me. They call this Russian disinformation. But that doesn't look like disinformation to me. This looks like Hunter Biden committing a felony. Now, we've heard a lot of talk on this committee about crime guns, and I would call this a Biden crime gun. The day after this report was released, there was no mention of this in mainstream publications. What did they talk about? George Santos. George Santos. Conveniently, George Santos was indicted the day this report was released. Coincidence? Well, you decide. But unfortunately for Democrats, there's only one George Santos to keep the Biden family off the front page of the Washington Post, so buckle up. This is Hunter Biden's gun application. I would like to direct your attention to question 11 Echo. It says, are you an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance? Now, in the words of the late, great, notorious B.I.G., when referring to the only way is to get out of the hood, he famously said, either you're slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. Now, Hunter Biden does not have a wicked jump shot, but he definitely slings crack rock. Out of respect for the president, I'm not going to show any photos of Hunter with prostitutes and grams of crack, but we all know he has a checkered past. Hunter Biden lied on this application about his history of illegal drug use. He obtained a gun anyway and was never prosecuted. If we saw this behavior from Donald Trump Jr., he would have been in handcuffs a long time ago. But the bottom line is this: the ATF is focused on making 40 million law-abiding citizens felons when they should be worried about Hunter Biden lying on a gun application, which is a felony, by the way. There's no wonder why the American people have lost faith and trust in the federal government. If you want to restore trust, stop spying on Americans. Stop targeting conservatives and pro-life people, and apply the law equally. And to the FBI, the CIA, the ATF, please put Hunter Biden in jail. I yield back.
And the chair recognizes the gentleman from Ohio for 5 minutes, or the chair of the full committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Houck, why do you think they did it? Why they, I mean, you know, the local police saw this incident. They weren't going to prosecute you. My guess is they probably exercised some common sense and said, you know, this guy's been praying in front of this clinic for 20 years. This guy harassed his son. He did what a dad would do. They chose not to come after you. You volunteered to turn yourself in, and yet they show up at your house, 20 agents, guns drawn, in front of your family, in front of Why do you think they did it?
Thank you, Congressman Jordan, for the question. I've been thinking about that for many months, and I can only come up with that the intention was to humiliate me, to scare my children, and to instill fear in pro-life America.
Yeah, I think they want to make an example of you, right?
I believe so.
And they told us why they did it. They actually put it in writing. All you got to do is look at the memorandum from the Richmond field office. I mean, you were like front and center. Look at this memorandum. And now, thank goodness they've rescinded it. FBI's rescinded this memorandum. This they call it a domain perspective. I don't know why they can't use just normal terms. It's a memorandum. They rescinded it because a brave whistleblower came and gave us this information. But if you look at page, I think it's page 4, has this sentence: events in which extremists and radical traditional Catholics will remain, events in which extremists and radical traditional Catholics might have common cause include legislation or judicial decisions in areas such as abortion rights, immigration, affirmative action, LGBTQ protections. So if you're pro-family, pro-life, and you want a border, you're a target, and your family fit all of that. Like you're a pro-life, pro-family Catholic, for goodness sake. They're going to come after you. Got 7 kids. You're not allowed to have 7 kids today. You know, we're trying to save the planet. You can't do that in America today, according to these. They made that you were the example, and that is how pervasive this political attitude is at the highest levels of our agencies. And in this case, it was the FBI, so much so they put together a memo and said, we want to put informants and snitches inside the Catholic Church, inside the parish, to go rat out people like Mark Houck and his family. Think that's what was going on here?
I would agree with you 100% that my family was targeted, that I've been on a watch list. I am a Novus Ordo Catholic. I'm not a traditional Latin mass goer, but nonetheless, I embrace our faith and I live it.
They still thought you were radical. They still thought you were radical, right? You may not go to Latin mass, but they thought you were radical. I mean, local police wouldn't investigate, but they were going after this guy because he's pro-life and he's Catholic and he prays. Man, he's got 7, we're coming after him.
Right. Yeah, my children were downrange of many guns, and they screamed through the whole process. The committee should know that they were traumatized, and I proceeded to be shackled and in front of them and chained to a table for 6 hours in the federal building.
And they were wrong, because you went in front of a jury, and the jury said no, he didn't do anything wrong. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
They prosecuted this case after the local people said no, we're not going to do it. Federal government says, we're going to make this guy an example. He's an RTC, a radical traditional Catholic, and we're going to come after him. And you did, and you went through the process. God bless you for going through it. But this is what's so scary. And again, we've had a number of whistleblowers come forward and talk about this kind of attitude displayed in this memorandum existing in the Justice Department. And it's as wrong as it gets.
Yeah, I would agree with you. You know, my children, I see it in their face every day. I see it in my wife. Just the fear in their eyes. And certainly they have fear of law enforcement now because the law enforcement guys come after the bad guys, not the good guys.
Yeah,
so my children are confounded by that.
Some guy gets in your kid's face, you do what a dad does. That's scary enough. And then they find out, oh, your dad's going to get prosecuted for standing up and defending his son. It's wrong, and everyone knows it's wrong, and it needs to stop. And frankly, as I said in my opening statement, I think the only way we can actually begin to stop this is we got to do what legislatures do. You got to look at the money. You got to look at the money. You got to say, look, if an FBI is going to do this kind of stuff to good people like you and your family, they may not be getting the funds that they've got before, and they certainly won't be using funds in certain ways. That's something we have to do. We have an obligation, a constitutional duty to do that. And I know Chairman Johnson is
viết lên đây với tất cả chân thành của lòng tôi trao anh. Ngày nào đã quen nhau vì chung hướng đời mình chốn trao nhau nụ cười. và tình yêu đó tôi đem ép trong tim. Dù bụi thời gian có làm mờ đi kỷ niệm của hai chúng mình, tôi cũng không bao giờ quên anh. Cho đến hôm nay với nức nở nghẹn ngào, mình mềm lòng xa nhau. Còn đâu những đêm anh dìu tôi lối về, buồn kể nhau nghe chuyện đời. Tình mình này chết như lá úa thu rơi, đường trần mồ côi tôi lạnh lùng ôm kỷ niệm của hai chúng mình. Ngơ ngác trong đêm trường tôi chứa vơi niềm yêu thương. Nhớ lúc chia phôi cầm tay chưa nói hết bao nhiêu niềm thương của tuổi xuân vừa tròn. Xa nhau mấy người không buồn không nhớ, xót xa cho tình yêu. Nuối tiếc xa xôi, ngày xưa anh nói vẫn yêu em nghìn năm, vẫn đợi em trọn đời. Nhưng nay hết rồi, hai người hai lối, lúc đêm buồn không ai. Tôi gói yêu thương xin trao trả ân tình về người tôi yêu mến. Đừng thương tiếc chi anh, chuyện hai chúng mình là giấc mơ trong cuộc đời. Tình mình này chết như lá úa thu rơi, đường trần mồ côi tôi lạnh lùng ôm kỷ niệm của hai chúng mình. Tuy đã xa nhau rồi nhưng không bao giờ quên anh. Cho đến hôm nay với nức nở nghẹn ngào, mình mềm lòng xa nhau. Còn đâu những đêm anh dìu tôi lối về, buồn kể nhau nghe chuyện đời. Tình mình này chết như lá úa thu rơi, đường trần mồ côi tôi lạnh lùng ôm kỷ niệm của hai chúng mình. Ngơ ngác trong đêm trường tôi chứa vơi niềm yêu thương. Nhớ lúc chia phôi cầm tay chưa nói hết bao nhiêu niềm thương của tuổi xuân vừa tròn. Xa nhau mấy người không buồn không nhớ, xót xa cho tình yêu. Nuối tiếc xa xôi, ngày xưa anh nói vẫn yêu em nghìn năm, vẫn đợi em trọn đời. Nhưng nay hết rồi, hai người hai lối, lúc đêm buồn không ai. Tôi tôi gói yêu thương xin trao trả ân tình về người tôi yêu mến. Đừng thương tiếc chi anh, chuyện hai chúng mình là giấc mơ trong cuộc đời. Tình